So today I would like to talk about why I committed to a no buy year. It was a rather spontaneous decision. I frankly had never heard of such a thing until I started following while doing my run on the treadmill. I usually watch YouTube videos or Netflix or what have you, and I was sort of between shows on Masterpiece Mystery. So I started tapping into some of my favorite YouTube beauty channels and came across a channel randomly in the sidebar by Hannah Louise Poston. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. And it was this mesmerizing, chatty video about a no-buy year, and I just had not ever heard of such a thing. And so I watched for a while, and I thought, a lot of what Hannah was saying really resonated with me, particularly the aspect of not just living beyond your means, but living this artificial image of yourself. In other words, purchasing things outside of your identity. And to a certain degree, that's what I was doing with certainly the lead up into the Christmas season. I had pulled out all the stops. I was purchasing things for myself to a degree that I really hadn't ever done, I don't think ever in my life. And as a child, I was very frugal. Through college, I was frugal because I didn't have any money. When I was teaching at a fine art academy, I was very frugal out of necessity. They don't say starving artist for no reason. There is a kernel of truth in that stereotype. So I have just pulled up to the dog park. I'm going to turn this off and pick it up after my doggy does a little walk-in. So one of my reasons for wanting to go on a no-buy, and I'll go through the reasons and then talk a little bit about the rules, because whenever I share this with people in my day-to-day world, nobody quite can wrap their mind around what a no-buy is, what it might be, what it might require. It sounds truly impossible on the surface when you first hear the term. So, some of the reasoning is I get home from work late in the afternoon. I have multiple hobbies, and that's actually one of the impetuses behind my channel name, the.amateur. The word amateur in English, I've always felt has kind of negative connotations. Here in America, I feel like the connotation is you're an amateur, but because you don't have enough talent to be pro or to make a full-time career out of something. And I sort of tend to prefer the French concept of the term, which is that amateur just means it's your passion. The neoclassical painter Ing was famous for being a very accomplished violin player, and there's a documentary that's worth looking up if you're into this sort of thing called Ing's Violin, and it has to do with this sort of secondary passion and how that can really enrich in your life to think of yourself in more than one, as having more than one talent, more than one passion, more than one thing that you can throw your heart and soul into fully. And for me, that truly is literature, and that's what my primary occupation is. I'm a high school English teacher, but for a full decade, I was fully immersed in teaching postgraduate classical fine art in a private atelier in Southern Pines, North Carolina. In it was an amazing life, and it's beyond the scope of this video to dip into that world, so I will leave it there. I still am very passionate about art, but it just could not sustain itself economically, or I did not have the characteristics, the instinct, the drive, or the desire to sell myself, to market myself. All of my efforts went into teaching, and I just don't have the personality for marketing myself, which is a bit ironic considering I now have a YouTube channel, but truly marketing myself is not my focus with this channel. So the thing with having multiple hobbies, and fine art is just one. I also love, and I live in North Carolina, I love pottery. I have a pottery wheel. I love any hands-on crafty type of, I love the arts and the crafts basically. I love sculpting, I love quilting, I love knitting, I love fiber arts. There is not enough time in the day for me to devote to all of my hobbies. And slowly I started to allow the craft of teaching to take over all of my time. All of my spare time was spent either marking papers or curating lesson plans or dealing with the technology, because I love the technology end of, and the digital end of teaching. Even in the ELA, high school ELA classroom, I love writing. In high school, I truly thought I was going to become a writer, and there are so many stories there, but I will try to be focused with this video. So the teaching started to consume too much of my life, and to kind of counterbalance that, I feel like I just started to shop in kind of a mindless, insignificant way. Online is a very convenient format for somebody who just wants to browse and collect things in shopping carts and use that to create the theater of identity that you think you are. And yet there was a growing disconnect between that artificial identity, cosmetics, self-care, all the lovely products that you salves that you massage into your skin, not just to counteract aging, but to make you feel good about yourself. That became very imbalanced. So we are at February 15th, and I can say with certitude that my no-buy has already materially changed my outlook and my week and my emotional health. I have time to come out in the evening, hang out with my dog at the lake, but it's not just that. It's a presence. It's a presence in the setting. It's a presence with being free from insignificant desires, from material desires. I'm not saying I have. I'm certainly not saying that I have no desire to purchase some of the things that still show up while I'm browsing on the internet, or while I'm working through my email address, or even working on my mobile devices. Certainly things are out there that I am interested in owning, but a no-buy helps you draw a clear line where you're able to say, that's just not for me right now. We've been able to save a significant amount of money already in a matter of a month and a half in the new year. I have a little bit of credit card debt, but nothing that will continue over the next month and a half. So just that idea of being out of debt, having a significant savings towards a second home, and looking at building that egg so that we are free to make whatever decision we choose to make, is very liberating emotionally, much more liberating than the guilt of sort of silently buying things and not talking about them. the geese at the other lake are becoming very upset. I don't know what they're upset about. So I will probably take this show back to my studio where I can talk more clearly. While I love the playing with color and the artistry of cosmetics, essentially I would like to maintain a better balance between the artistry of identity and the artistry that I'm called to do when I work with drawing or painting from nature. So I would like to take a moment to describe to you what the rules are for my no-buy. I do have a little cheat sheet here. I've removed my glasses because they create a glare with the ring light in my studio. So my rules are simple, but I have some exceptions that I'm allowed to purchase. In a nutshell, I am not allowed to do any kind of pleasure shopping for myself. That pleasure shopping includes all non-essential items. No pleasure shopping includes most of the categories that I found myself overspending in 2018, and those categories are cosmetics, clothing, and housewares. Now, there are some significant exceptions to that umbrella no shopping rule, and yes, I can purchase food and groceries, I can go out to eat, I can travel, I can purchase things for my classroom, I can purchase things for professional development. I have a few conferences coming up in March, and those will involve some travel, and of course I can maintain my health, so dental care, health care, that sort of thing. If something comes up, I'm allowed to purchase health care and professional development items. If I run out of something like shampoo, I am permitted to replace the shampoo, but only if I have used up all the sample packets, used up every variety of shampoo that is currently in my arsenal. I will leave my husband's products to my husband. So when I run out of toothpaste, I can replace my toothpaste with a reasonably priced toothpaste. So for every product category, in other words, if I run out of all of my mascaras in my collection, I am permitted to replace that with one quality mascara. Now, I'm not setting parameters on myself on what that product is, but I am permitted to replace it. The only thing I've left out is I am permitted to purchase gifts and receive gifts. Somebody very dear to me recently was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I am permitted to go onto Amazon and put together a care package for her and send that on with no restrictions. I feel that that's important. You still need to be able to shower people you love with gifts when the occasion arises. So those are my no-buy rules. I hope you enjoyed hearing about these forces that have propelled me toward taking on a goal like a full 2019 no-buy year. The final thing I would like to add to that is I just truly love a challenge. If I come across a puzzle or a race or something that I feel will challenge me in a way that I've never been challenged, I'm usually game for that activity. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do leave a comment in the comments section below. If you are also committing to a no-buy year, tag yourself. I feel that YouTube is truly an amazing community, and I'm happy to tinker around in order to become a better user of technology in my world. Thank you for joining me. Please hit subscribe, click the bell so you're notified of any updates, and ciao.